bicycle and bring it into Photoshop and then cut out the background, I can predict we're going to have a little bit of trouble even though it's against a white wall. So I'll copy this guy and I can bring it in by just going to Edit, Paste, or Command V. Right, once the picture is in here though, how do we cut out the background? Well, the easiest way is once we've got this thing shrunk down, I hit Command T to bring up the boxes, shrink it down so I can see everything I want to cut out. Then I'm going to make a selection here with my Object Selection tool. This is a little AI thing built into Photoshop that should help me find my outline. And when I let go, it gives me dancing ants around most of the bicycle, but watch what happens when I go and mask this off. Oh, yuck. It didn't even get the inside of the frame on the bike. So we need to go in then and refine our mask, right? Because it did an okay job, it didn't do a great job. So if we double click here on the layer mask thumbnail, we can tidy that up. First things first, I'm going to try to remove some of this using the quick select brush. Okay, and also ate part of my bicycle there, so I can come back. Give me my bike back, please. Right? Now, some of this stuff, though, is not easy for the computer to figure out. Yes, it can figure out these large sections in the bike, okay. Pry this section under the wire. Ooh, maybe not. Always hit Command Z to undo. Oh, also not very good. Some of this, we're just going to have to take matters into our own hands. Right? And the way we can do that is by using some of the more precise tools here, like the brush tool. Now, the brush tool paints precisely. So if I go like that, it just cuts off the thing. There's no AI built in there to help me find lines. You can come in here and sort of paint out the background. You know, this might be a thing that's better done with a tablet than a mouse. That's okay. If we need to make our brush size smaller, you can come up here, right? Click on the brush, drag it down. Or you can always hit the bracket keys on your keyboard to make it bigger and smaller. More than one way to skin that cat. If you don't like using a brush, the other way that people sometimes do is grabbing our lasso tool. Right, with the lasso I can just draw a little box. Oh, I forgot something. See here where it looks like there's two boxes? That's going to add to our selection. This one here subtracts. So if I want to subtract something, I just go in there, subtract. Subtract. I'm going to try to subtract all these parts in here I don't want. Because it's going to only look better if I take my time and do a nice mask instead of just kind of doing an automatic basic look at all those ugly pixels type mask. So, you know, little by little, that's how you eat an elephant. Now, one last thing. This is all with like complex curves. It seems easiest to use things like the brush tool and the lasso tool when we're working with complex forms. When we're working with simple geometric ones, though, I like to use the one called the polygonal lasso. Polygonal? Polygonal? Who knows? So, right, I can just click on the corners where I want this polygon to form. And, oh, did it again. Gotta subtract, not add. Happens to the best of us. And me too. So, right, we can come in here. When these things are pretty geometric, you can make a geometric lasso. When you're this far zoomed in, you can see the pixels. You know exactly where you need to put your points because you're just cutting things out, leaving other things there. Now, the reason why we use a mask instead of the eraser tool is because if you use the eraser tool, there's no way to go back and fix your mistakes. Like, let's say I say good enough for now, and I keep working on the rest of my poster. Well, there's no way if I'm using the eraser tool to go, oh no, I cut off part of something. There's no way to fix that later on. The only way to make sure you can always go back and make changes or correct your mask is by using a mask. So I'm going to go back in my mask. I'm going to try to do some more. Ooh, not nice. Let's see. if we can go in here, maybe make this guy smaller. It still just wants to take the whole thing. What if well, I'll just do it the way I was doing it before. A nice brush. Now, something like these wires, where you can see there's kind of shades of gray on the side of them, and maybe we want them to kind of fade a bit. That's a time when you can, reduce the hardness of your brush, come in there, and it gives it sort of a nice faded edge. This is the business of Photoshop. Alright, so those are techniques you can use then to refine your masks, make tighter selections. The absolute best way to work in Photoshop is always using layer mask. You never want to be one of those people who grabs the eraser tool. That makes your work look sloppy, makes your work look amateurish. Take your time, use a mask.